Well, good morning and welcome on this Wednesday morning. And for some of us, it's been a short work week, and I hope that you had a wonderful Independence Day weekend and that all of you had a chance to maybe get some rest and some recreation. And welcome this morning as we share today from the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verses 1 through 9. And I'd like to read through that scripture this morning and then just share a few thoughts about what's here today. So after this, Jesus traveled throughout Galilee. He stayed out of Judea because the Jewish leaders wanted to kill him. Now the Jewish feast of shelters was near, so Jesus's brothers advised him, "Leave here and go to Judea, so your disciples may see your miracles that you are performing. For no one who seeks to make a reputation for himself does anything in secret. If you are doing these things, show yourself to the world." For not even his own brothers believed in him. So Jesus replied, "My time has not yet arrived, but you are ready at any opportunity. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I am testifying about it, that its deeds are evil. You go up to the feast yourselves. I am not going up to this feast, because my time has not yet fully arrived." When he had said this, he remained in Galilee. And this is the word of the Lord for us this morning. So let's get a little bit of context in time. So in the previous chapter, chapter 6 of John, a lot of things happened. The recording of the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus doing many other things there are recorded, and they seem to come one right after the other, the way they're recorded. In chapter 6 flows into chapter 7, but it's been about 6 months since the Passover festival. And of course, not the one where Jesus was betrayed and that led to the cross. It's the one prior to that, the year before. And Jesus has been avoiding Judea because he knows that he is growing unpopular amongst particularly the religious leaders, and there's a great hostility growing there. And so it's interesting here to hear the cynicism in how Jesus' brothers are encouraging him to attend this festival. So this festival, the Feast of Shelters, or you familiar with Scripture may have also heard it referred to as the Feast of Tabernacles, was a fall event, our fall event in the Jewish calendar. And so it was about 6 months after the Jewish Passover and about 6 months before the Passover where Jesus would be crucified. So perhaps in this situation here where they're telling him that he needs to go up, that they're reminding him of his religious obligation, even though there's danger in him going. And there was this obligation amongst all Jewish males who were within about 15 miles of Jerusalem to go into the town, into the city, for this major feast. There were 3 major feasts that were pilgrimage feasts. There was the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Passover, and the Feast of Pentecost. And so these were ones where the pilgrims would come from all over. And Tabernacles was one of those feasts where all Jewish males of age within 15 miles were required to attend. And many, many more came from beyond that area for those feasts. So perhaps maybe they're pushing him because of that. Perhaps they're pushing him to, put his messianic proclamations in full public view. Well, you say you're the Messiah, go do this. It's important for us to remember at this point that Jesus' family, his brothers, his half-brothers, didn't believe in him. They weren't part of his group of disciples. So it was a little tense, I would imagine, from time to time when he was with his family. This interaction shows us that his brothers had failed to grasp the character of Jesus and understand his mission. For him, if he couldn't get his own family, his half-brothers who had been raised with him, he was the oldest, but they would have grown up in the home with him. They would have known him until he left home to begin his public ministry. If they couldn't fully grasp this, is it any wonder that much of the world was having trouble wrapping their head around it? And as I was studying this passage of Scripture and preparing for our devotional this morning, I was thinking about Pastor's message on Sunday morning about our need to, be witnesses to our family. And certainly, I'm 110% with him. That's where it needs to begin. Our message to go, our message to proclaim the good news needs to begin at home. It needs to begin with our family. But in some ways, sometimes that can be the hardest place. And I just want to encourage you this morning, if you're tuned in, and maybe that's a difficult task for you in your family within your home, or perhaps amongst your siblings, your adult children, or your larger family. Maybe they even mock what you believe, certainly press back against it. Don't be discouraged. Not for this to be a cop-out encouragement, but even Jesus had trouble bringing his own family along with him. So just be encouraged by the fact that the one who loves us, the one who you're proclaiming, as he walked this earth, had those same struggles. It's also important for us to remember here that throughout the Gospel of John, we see these misunderstandings as a typical theme. And as Jesus was disclosing himself to people, they had trouble imagining this, and for them, there were things about this that just couldn't add up. And there were people there that saw his miracles. They saw the results of what he did, and even his disciples, prior to Pentecost, they had been there at the healings, when the demons were cast out, when they literally saw lepers healed. I mean, right there, blind people whose sights are restored. They just in their place where they were, they just couldn't comprehend it all, and so it became very difficult. The other thing that I want to say, it's kind of connected. They're not that try not to give us disconnected thoughts this morning, but let's not lose sight of a phrase here. My time has not yet arrived. The other thing that we're reminded of is that Jesus does everything in his time. So as you are working out being a witness to your family, as you maybe perhaps you're waiting on an answer to prayer about something, or on a situation to change, or something where you are totally out of control of anything, but you need the Lord to do something. He will do so in his time. There's also just something that's really interesting here about this particular use of the word, original use of the word that's been translated time. My time has not yet arrived. In all the other places where we see time, except for this one, it refers to almost like a date with destiny as far as time goes. This time is fixed, it's set, and this is what's going to happen. In this case, This word is better yet related to opportunity. It's not time for me to go yet because there's not an opportunity for me to do what it is that I need to do. And so this is slightly different in its approach to the word time. And of course, that's one of the issues we have when we translate from one language to another. Sometimes there are words in other languages that have a more nuanced meaning built into them where we just have the word time. It's not time to go yet. The time hasn't arrived on the clock. It's not time to go yet. I'm not ready. It's not time to attempt something because the conditions aren't right. If you want to, it's the summertime, it's 2:00 in the morning, and you need to mow your grass today. It's probably not the time to mow your grass because it's dark outside and you can't see what you're doing. It's not time to go to the doctor yet because my appointment's not till 11 o'clock. Those two things are very different in how we apply time, and we understand the meaning in a broader context of the sentence and in the situation. But here we just see time. What does time mean? And in this case, Jesus was saying, there's not the opportunity for me to do what I need to do right now, so I don't need to go. And if you follow on through later on the scripture, he actually did go into Jerusalem secretly and to avoid those that were looking for him, those that would kill him even then. And it's not that he was being disingenuous here. We shouldn't at all arrive at that conclusion. It's that it wasn't the moment for him to go when his brothers went, and that they were bound by a different thing than he was. And Jesus still had things to accomplish. He still had 6 more months until the next Passover. He had more ministry to do, and it was not a time when he should go to Jerusalem and begin what he needed to do. Because if you'll recall, when we think about opportunity, Jesus knew what he was doing 6 months later when he went in on the donkey. Jesus knew what he was doing when he was confronting the teachers of the law that week leading up to Passover out of the temple courts as he was teaching. Everything that Jesus did was purposeful. And he did it at the assigned time, and he also did it at the opportune time when he needed to for the effectiveness of his ministry. So what can we take away from this morning? I realize that there are kind of 2 or 3 strands of thought that I've put together here. So let me try to tie it up for us. One, I would just remind us that to remain faithful. Jesus' own family didn't believe in him at this point. Keep being faithful. Keep living your life before your family. And know that a time will come, an opportune time, when all of this can come together and you can indeed make a difference right there in your own Jerusalem, in your own home. Lord bless you. You have a great Wednesday. And I think Pastor Dan will be back with you tomorrow. And so, Lord bless you. And if you worship with us regularly, we'll see you on Sunday. Take care.